Okay, hi. It looks like we only have one wonderful guest joining us right now in the booth. So thank you for coming, Angelica. I'm going to tell you all about Magical Munda. I am very excited to actually know that you have won the prize and that you'll be coming to visit us. So I will customize this presentation maybe a tad, depending on other people come in and join us as well. So if you have any questions, I have a separate screen going. So I will jump between the screens to see if you have any questions. Please just shout out and I'll try and answer them as we go along. One other thing as well, I have a whole bunch of absolutely awesome videos to share with some really fantastic music as well. I think I got it, it didn't quite work well yesterday, but I think I have it working right now. So if you don't mind, Angelica, if it's okay, just pop in as soon as I play the first video, just put a comment inside the tab where we chat that you can hear the music or you can't. Sounds like a plan? Excellent. Okay, so why the Solomon Islands and what makes this place so special? Okay, so if you don't know yet, the Solomon Islands is part of the really tip of the Coral Triangle, and it makes that area absolutely fantastic in terms of diversity and life. But what really makes the Solomon Islands and specifically Munda so special, it's all about diversity. So Solomon Islands are tucked in between Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu. We're about a 3-hour flight from Brisbane. So pretty much in the middle of nowhere, which makes it really fantastic. So we have about 1,000 islands, many of them uninhabited and most of them unexplored, especially for diving. We are a very small country. We have, as I've mentioned, about 1,000 islands, but only about 600,000 people. Wonderful concoction made up out of beautiful, unique cultures, rituals, custom, traditional stories, and culture as well. We have 63 languages in the Solomons, and we are the only country in the world that, hey, Terry, I'm so happy that you can join us as well. Terry, we have Angelica on. Angelica just yesterday won the grand prize of coming to visit us in Munda. So I'm really happy that you are joining, and you can maybe also tell Angelica how special this place is. Anyway, so I was just talking about Munda being, or actually the Solomon Islands being the only country in the world that has 3 different cultures: Melanesian, Polynesian, and Micronesian people living inside the Solomon Islands. And then, of course, a concoction of all sorts of expats from all over the country, from all over the world within the country. So it's a very unique place, and I'm really happy that you'll be joining us very soon, somewhere in the new year, hopefully, after all of this madness is over. So again, as I've mentioned before, what makes the Solomon Islands so special is absolute diversity. Again, I want to thank all of our various partners, our sponsors as well, and specifically Agnes Gateway Hotel, whom you'll be staying with, and also Dive Planet for helping us create this opportunity to be able to share Munda at the Scuba show. Okay, Terry, I'm watching 2 screens. So again, if you have any questions or any comments, please just pop them in the chat box. And also, I've got wonderful videos that I'm showing today. And again, if you can't hear them, I've just learned yesterday what I did wrong yesterday. So hopefully the videos will show wonderful today. Otherwise, it will just be the visuals. And I will send you guys the direct links to YouTube. But I think I have it working today. So, all right, let me show you what makes this place so special. And when we talk about what makes this place so special, I'm going to start off by showing you our very first video that's going to be looking at the wonderful Magical Munda. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a second, guys, so please bear with me. as I then end this show and actually go into the YouTube screen directly to share the first video with you guys. So just bear with me, please. So this is a wonderful showcase of what makes Munda and Dive Munda so special. So let me go ahead and share. Let me know if you can see and hear. Okay, so there is a comment from Angelica saying you guys can't see the video yet. Let me go and try that again, guys. I'm sorry. Was there anybody else able to see the video? I think there's just some responses coming through. Let me try that again, guys. I'm going to try in a different way. Hopefully you'll see, we'll see this now. Let's try that again. Let me know if you can hear, guys. All right. So did that work for everybody? It looked like there was a bit of stalling. My internet's actually really good today, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was the size of the video. Let's go back to the presentation, guys. So I was talking about what makes the Solomon Islands really special. We now know that it is a concoction of all beautiful people, sunsets, beaches, the whole shebang. But let's talk about the people. I've mentioned earlier that it's made up of uniquely different cultures, many different language, perhaps not quite as diverse as our one-top neighbors, Papua New Guinea, but still amazing different cultures and lots of cool stories. I was enchanted by the people's smiles when I moved there 8 years ago. I was due to go only for 1 year, and I've been there ever since. And this is part of the reason why. It's the most amazing people, and their smiles and their genuine, loving and open nature is unbelievable. The Solomon Islands gets to you. The place that I'm based out of in Munda is magical. And there's something very, very special about this unique, untouched, unspoiled part of the world. So I've talked about the beaches and the sunsets. Well, all the Pacific nations, as well as most island nations across the world, certainly claims that they have the best sunsets. I hear you and I raise you. I do believe that the Solomon Islands has some of the most amazing sunsets, absolutely picturesque and wonderfully painted, beautiful colors. And then, of course, during daytime, you have these wonderful beaches that just stretches on for forever. 50 shades of blue, and then you look at the land and it's 50 shades of green as well. So really, you will not fall short if you wanted to have a beach experience or a wonderful sunset or sunrise. Custom culture, and part of the Solomon Islands bloody history, more recently World War II, but certainly further back, we look at the traditional custom culture of headhunting. The Roviana Lagoon, where Munda is based out from, has some of the most interesting and fiercest fighters during the traditional headhunting days. There are beautiful sites, lots of absolutely fantastic stories that's been passed on generation to generation. And specifically in this case, we have a site that's called, sacred site that's called the Skull Island, which is a picture that you see right now. And we can take you during the surface interval, or you can have a wonderful morning with some of our staff that certainly has is direct descendants from the people that were some of the fiercest fighters during the headhunting history. So very, very interesting part of the Solomon Islands past. What else makes it so special? Well, snorkeling. Not only snorkeling, but freediving as well. And this is great for people that want to bring partners or friends along that's perhaps not as keen a diver. There's lots of stuff to do in the Solomons. Specifically in Munda, we have 40 sites within 40 minutes of where we are based off. And 90% of those sites are 100% beginner diver accessible, freediving accessible, as well as snorkeling accessible. We have snorkel guides that goes out and freediving guides that goes out on all our dives and or free dives or snorkels. So we really cater for everybody in this specific region, and not just in Munda. I mean, the Solomon Islands is a wonderful place to visit, and all of the areas where we have diving, whether it's the Morovo Lagoon, whether it's Honiara, Tulagi, Gizo, all of these places are really accessible to all different types of divers and also snorkelers and freedivers. So what else makes it special? If that wasn't enough, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exploring. The Solomon Islands, we're part of the Papua New Guinea Solomon's PNG Master, and we do navigational trips, exploring trips between Munda and Rabaul in Papua New Guinea. So it's a really unique product offering. This is the company, it's very good friends of mine that I helped set up when I moved there 7 years ago, and we are still considered as sister companies. I still very often join the trip, and I also run my Solomon Islands Discovery Cruises product, which is a boutique style cruise ship offering through this vessel, Taka. And I'm going to try and see if this is going to work, if I can run it right from here. And again, please pop into the chat box immediately, guys, if you cannot hear the music, please. Excellent. I didn't really hear too much of the feedback, so I'm hoping that you guys were able to see everything on that video. Can you guys just please confirm, because we got 2 more videos. I don't want to show them unless you guys can actually see them. Shall we go on? Perfect. Okay. So macro, what else makes the Solomons special? Okay, well, we have the small stuff too. There are amazing. We have 9 species of anemone fish, and a couple of them is endemic to the white bonnet, for example, is endemic to the Solomon Islands only. So if you're an underwater photographer and you're into the small stuff or these wonderful anemone fish, it certainly is the place to visit. Then hard corals. Well, if a place like Fiji, and rightfully so, claims to be the soft coral capital of the world, well, I absolutely sincerely believe that the Solomons is the hard coral capital of the world. Fields and fields of amazing, extraordinary hard corals that just goes on forever. The diversity and the selection is absolutely incredible. And that, so by the way, is Munda. I mean, Munda is just phenomenal. We do, touch wood, we do a lot of work to help protect and preserve this environment. We also partner with the Coral Sea Foundation and the Sea Women of Melanesia program to help encourage our local communities and our local women to be able to embrace this wonderful, diverse underwater world that they have there. And it's a wonderful initiative. If you want to get involved, let us know. Also, during lockdown, I want to share a quick story with you. During lockdown, we have launched a program during hard times for us. We wanted to keep our staff engaged, and we wanted to continue to do something good for our environment and help protect this amazing place. And we realized, or I realized during lockdown, that we don't have a local market. We don't have people within the Solomon culture that can certainly afford to dive. And we had no guests when the borders closed. We went from one day full calendar to the next day not having anybody there. So back in August on International Youth Day, I thought, well, let's do something special here. Let's try and make a difference, and let's try and continue to stay positive during hard times. So we launched the on International Youth Day, the Train the Solomon Island Youth campaign. My first initial hope was just to train 30 Solomon Island youth and receive sponsorships for that. That's grown into 50. We now have secured 50 sponsors. We have already trained. By this weekend, we would have trained 40 of those youth, 60 to 70% females. We also do a lot of female development. I mean, I've trained the first 2 instructors, female instructors, local ones in the history of the country. Anyways, that aside, we are now solidly on our way to hopefully secure 80 sponsors for our youth by the end of this year. So please get involved in the program. It's a wonderful initiative, not only to train our youth, give them something positive to do, and our staff, but also really focusing on how to protect the environment. SSI is giving some of the ecology courses for us for free to be able to help these young people appreciate the ocean a bit more in our unique environment. So it's really cool. Thanks, Jerry. Yep, it's such an amazing project, and I'm so happy that we're able to do that with our sponsors, of course. Okay, yes, we have soft corals too, but really for me, the hard corals is what makes it so special. Then we have this amazing selection of cuts, caverns, and caves. There is really one of our amazing signature sites that I'm going to show you a video in a second. It's called the Cave of the Custom Shark. It's right on Munda's doorstep. It's one of our phenomenal sites. You need a little bit more advanced training, but you certainly don't need to be a tech diver. But this is really one of those dives that you want to aspire to and work towards, because it is absolutely stunning. It's this, you walk on an island, drop inside this pool of water, go through the tunnel, and it spits you out on this wonderful, fantastic wall on the other side. That's the exit of this cave. And it's got beautiful traditional custom stories that I'll tell you when you come and visit. But let me show you what it looks like. It's an absolute, people describe this as the perfect dive, and you'll see why. Let me show you a quick video. And hopefully this will work again. I'm going to leave the screen a little bit smaller just so that you can enlarge it from your side, that we don't have problems with bandwidth again.
I heard about this dive that was called the Cave of the Custom Shark, which was apparently quite an interesting dive, including a little bit of walk through a forest and going inside like a big tunnel. So you start inside the lagoon and then afterwards you go through the tunnel and you come out in the open ocean on a beautiful wall with some very nice reefs. So I got a chance to do it about 2 days ago, and it was quite impressive. It's quite a complete dive. So there's many things to see. Inside the cave itself, there's not so many fish. Apparently there was a shark before, but now it's just the rock formation and the structure and the shape of the wall and how you have these many layers with the silt falling down. So you have to be very careful. You need to have a little bit of knowledge about technical diving and the way of finning properly. Otherwise, you just picked up all the silt that is on the floor, and also your bubbles coming up also hit the silt that has accumulated on the top of the wall that falls down. So when you're in, you just go through, you never come back. Otherwise, you're gonna be in the fog and into all the silt in suspension. So you have to be very careful. I guess you can do it only a few people, not too many people. It's about a 15-minute swim through, more or less, and you enter. Then you come out into the blue, into the open ocean, next to this gorgeous wall full of corals and fish, and there's turtles. We saw a turtle as well from far on that dive, and I think it's a really nice complete dive. It's an experience on its own, but it's definitely worth trying.
Excellent. All right, let's get back to the presentation and we'll wrap up. You absolutely have to come and do, Jim, thanks for joining. You have to come and do this. If you haven't done the Cave of the Custom Shark, I'm sure you will absolutely love it. So what else makes the Solomon special? Of course, we have pelagics. Yes, many of them, big schools. Yes, we do have sharks. And there is a reason I have a hammerhead on my t-shirt for Dive Munda. We do have a hammerhead season as well. Certainly not where you see hundreds and hundreds of hammerheads, etc. I mean, that is definitely not what the Solomons is about in terms of one specific feature or creature. I mean, you see them all the time, but certainly we don't have the big schools. But we see both the scalloped hammerheads and the greater hammerheads during a specific time of the year. I'd say October through to March. We do see that period now being extended on either side. We suspect because of the water staying warmer longer, and we know these guys like to come up from the deeper depths to the shallower during the colder season, during the cyclone season. So yes, we do also see on. It's a place where you can, anywhere in the Solomons, you will see a shark on every single dive. Thank goodness, touch wood, up until now. We have white tip, black tip, grey reef. We have silver tips, the occasional bull. We've seen a couple of tigers, not too many, and of course the hammerheads. So really still fantastic, wonderful, rich, abundant fish life, and as well sharks. So that what is also making the Solomons special. And if that is not enough, we also have biofluoro dives across the Solomons, specifically in Munda. We discovered in our area, we had a few years ago, Canon come and do their low light sensitivity marketing video in Munda, specifically focusing on the biofluorescent turtle, which was quite a discovery by my friend. So it's an amazing dive. You have to come and do it if you haven't done it yet. We've also just started doing a bit of blackwater diving, which we've had some really cool friends and experts come and do it, and they believe that there is so much to see in Munda. But certainly if you're into blackwater diving, we would love to have you, because we would like to learn more about it. So that's one of those up and coming areas. In the Solomons, of course, if you're into tech diving, there is so much in terms of the deeper wrecks that's based out of Honiara or Tulagi. You can visit Tulagi Dive. That, so by the way, is Neil, which is the original owner of Tulagi Dive. That's the dive that I did with him on the USS Erin Ward. We're at about 65, 70 meters there. So there are the shallow wrecks across the Solomons, but then we also have the deeper ones that you'll have to go to Honiara and specifically do them with one of the operators, whether it is Raiders in Tulagi or Tulagi Dive based in Honiara. Awesome World War II wrecks, most of them completely intact. And we are still discovering new wrecks. We discovered a couple last year in Munda. I know they've discovered through Raiders a bunch of really cool ones in the Iron Bottom Sound close to Tulagi. That is one of our deeper, that is in Munda, that's the Corsair. That sits at about 53, 55 meters. So that's one of our advanced wrecks. But yes, the World War II in the Solomons and in Munda makes this place absolutely astonishing. From beginner dives, you could do a Discover tri-dive, 12 meters, and see a Douglas dive bomber. So the diversity is absolutely astonishing. You can enter from the beach and see our one of our Japanese shipwrecks, the Kashimaru. So really a lot of World War II history, not just on land. We also very often go to some of our land-based World War II sites, which is Giza certainly has where Kennedy was hit by the Japanese ship. And we know the story about the coconut floating back towards Munda, actually. So we have the PT-109 base in Munda, in Rendova, and we have a World War II museum that is fantastic to visit, where JFK was based on. And if that's not enough, we, as you have probably heard by now, we are, as a dive operation and across the Solomon Islands, we are acutely aware that we are in one of the most untouched, unspoiled places in the world, on planet Ocean. And we are really focused on protecting it and also exploring it, but not exploiting. So we want more tourists and we want more people. We only really get about 7,000 tourists a year. So we really do want more, but not too many. So we always joke and say, oh, you've got to be invited to come to the Solomons. Not true, but it is a special place. And if you make it all the way out there, you'll realize that it's a phenomenal place. We had some show specials and we also had this wonderful prize. So I'm going to skip over that. If you are still interested in getting some of the show specials, or if you were lucky enough to win a prize, you have my contact number. Please let me know if you have any other questions and I'm happy to answer them. And please come and visit us on the other side of all of this madness. I'm going to close off with the Magical Munda video that focuses a little bit more on Munda, specifically some of our accommodation partners. We're a dive shop only. We are based on one of our resort partners' property, and we have a very close relationship with many of our other accommodation partners, whether you're into 3-4 star, a bit more luxurious, whether you're into eco resort, or whether you're into an island retreat, we have all of that. So without further ado, let me finish off with the last video. And again, if you have any questions, you can find us anywhere. Just follow us on @Dive Munda on any of our social media mediums. Excellent. All right. And I think that's it. We have David joining, and I think he was just asking where the Solomons is. The Solomons is based in the South Pacific.